Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. I'm having a bit of a chill out day, quite a stressful day yesterday, and so I'll come to my happy place, the garage. I'll be in me even a happier place, sat in the Jag in a moment, and I've just been chatting with my friends, the ducks. We've just been having a little conversation about the best food, whether it's bread or pellets or just drinking nice water out of a tin lid. Where's your friend gone? We don't know. Pop round the corner. So, yeah, I thought I'd take this opportunity to just sit in a Jag, chill out for 10 and share something of control layout, because I've been asked for it a few times, particularly by new XK8 owners. In one of our much earlier secrets at the XK8, I explained that if you put the key in the door lock, and then you turn it all the way back or anti-clockwise, it drops the windows. If you keep it held, then your roof comes off. And you don't have to start the car or even get in it to do that. Obviously, if you've got a dicky battery, it's probably not the best idea. Okay, so run over of basic controls. Mine's a sports trim car, by the way, not particularly high spec, so you may have some more features for mine. Mine's a 1996 vehicle. First of all, on the interior, you have door handles, very obvious to open the doors, but if you press, that operates the central locking from the inside of the car. If you come down, you have the window switches, and you need the ignition on for those to operate. They should illuminate, often they don't. In front of that is the control for the mirrors. How it works, press down on the right hand side, and then the little joystick will adjust the mirror any way you want. Click it in the middle. If you nudge it, it won't work the mirrors. Click it left, it operates the left-hand mirror. If you have auto fold mirrors, I don't, then all you need to do is to go 2 quick tugs back on that, and generally your mirrors fold. But I'm not the best to advise on that. Next, on the side of the seat, if you have 4-way seats, the same as mine, this is the array. This button with the depression deflates the lumbar support. The bump or inflation inflates the lumbar support. The lumbar support is pneumatic, and you can hear a little compressor. This one moves the seat backrest forwards and backwards. The one at the front is actually a joystick, and you can push it back to move the seat base forwards or backwards, and up and down to raise and lower the seat. Some seats will have headrest adjustment and various other features. Next is the handbrake, which seems obvious, but it can cause some confusion for first-time Jaguar owners particularly. So it's not a transmission side, it's a sill side handbrake. And for that reason, it has to always be in the low position for you to be able to climb in the car without causing yourself an injury. So it's always down. You can't tell anything from its vertical position because it always goes down whether it's on or it's off. To set the handbrake, or e-brake if you're in America, All you need to do is grab hold of the handle, depress the button with your thumb, pull up, and when you're at the top of the travel, let go. That's the handbrake on, and of course the handbrake will go back down. To release it, pull up and then press and keep your thumb on the button and push down. An alternate, but just wears the mechanism so I don't do it, is you can pull up without the button. That has set the handbrake. To unset it, pull up harder, press and push down. Luckily there is a light on the dashboard that tells you the handbrake is on or off, but many people will drive their cars for some distance with the handbrake on because A, they're not desperately powerful handbrakes, and B, you've got a lot of torque in this car. To the right of the steering wheel in my UK car, the first button is the boot release or trunk release. Press that and the boot will pop up. Next one is the fuel filler flap. Press that and the fuel filler flap will open, but only if the doors are unlocked. Next is valet. Valet is a button I don't use, but some do. If you press the valet button, what it means is that the green key that some of us have with our cars, I have one, can be given to anybody. It will start the car. It can be used to lock the doors. It cannot be used to open the boot. And this button will not open the boot. So, in effect, your valuables are safe. Valet as a feature is turned off by using the black key in the ignition to start the car. Next to it, what looks like a button is a grill, and that's the air conditioning's aspirator, which basically is just a temperature sensor with a small fan to suck air from the interior over it. Below that is a little holder I can use sometimes for sunglasses, but mainly it's hidden away and most people don't think to use it. Right hand stalk. There's a button on the end of the stalk. If you press that, it washes the screen and does a wipe. Next bit is the up and down movement of the entire stalk, which goes from wipers off through one notch up, wipers intermittent through wipers on first speed, wipers on second speed. When the wipers are on their intermittent setting, which is one notch up, this next barrel comes into play, and this is the degree of delay, from very small delay to very long delay. Steering wheels will vary from car to car, and so will the electronics packs on them, and from year to year as well. But the general layout is very similar, just with additional features or some omitted. So if you have cruise control, this array is on the right hand side. Pressing the top or set plus button, pressing the middle button cancels the cruise control, as does touching the brakes. The bottom button decreases the speed that the cruise control is set to, and the top button increases the speed that the cruise control is set to. If you're going along at 60 on cruise and then you have to touch the brakes, this button, res, is resume, and if you look on the side of it, there's a little depression. It makes it nice and easy to get out. You don't push it away from you, you press that button there, and that brings the speed back to wherever you set it to. On the left hand side of my steering wheel, I have my audio controls. Again, varies from car to car, and you may also have phone controls on yours. I do not. Top button is obvious, the volume. Wherever you've got on down here, so if I have radio on, then if I press the plus button, it increases or decreases the volume. Minus is obvious. If I press the musical button, just pop down here, what it does is it swaps between long wave, medium wave, tape side A, CD that's in the boot at the moment, and then back to the various FM, medium wave, radio functions, etc. So it cycles through all of your sources. This other button, which again, like the other side, doesn't press, there's a depression on the side of it, you press it in. That moves you between, if you're on radio, your preset channel. So whatever you've got programmed to your radio, that will move you through the various channels. If you're on CD at that time, disc 6, then pressing that button will cause it to move forward through the tracks. I'm not going to go through the details of the radio today. My left-hand stalk, we have indicators, as you would imagine. Rotating the barrel on the end, see the little light bulb, varies between lights off, side lights, marker lights, and your driving lights. Main beam is achieved by pushing away, which locks, or pulling towards, which flashes. The end of the stalk has a little button on it that says trip. With our ignition on, if I press the trip button, it cycles between a range of options on the trip computer. So there's the range in miles before I run out of fuel, must get some. Press it again, and it brings up the actual mileage of the car, 53,562 miles. We have two odometers, the A and B, both with separate trip computer recordings, and A, that's showing you 99 miles on A. Press it again, back to range. A, fuel used 9.8 gallons. A, average fuel consumption is 9.2. Instantaneous fuel, obviously I'm not moving. Average speed, not moving. And back to the beginning. And A and B, as I say, are two separate memories. The features on this are, there's a big clear button, and you'll note at the moment I've got an error message. It's most basic of all, my driver's door is open. If I press the clear, then basically it's taken away that error message. It's left the red light on, which reminds you there's a problem, and every time you start the car that error would come back, but you've got it out of the way. That's what clear does. Now you can see we're on a trip computer and we've done 99 miles on memory A. Up here we have the A-B button. If I press that, we go to memory B, which has also got 99 miles on it. A, and I can trip through all of the same features on memory B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete memory B. And how do I do that? I use the 0 button on this display here. Press it, hold it, you'll see it says trip reset, and it's gone. And now all the features on B will be reset. But if I click back to A, it's still got those features. And the middle button on here says miles and kilometers, That is just for ease if you're moving from one area to another. So if I drive over to France, I'd click on to kilometres maybe. In the UK, I'm always on miles, just for my convenience. Down here, we have a rheostat, and if you turn this, it changes the brightness of the instrument lighting. This only affects the instrument lighting when the headlights are on. Most vehicles will have a very popular option, mine does not, which is the electrically operated steering column with auto pull away feature, and that's controlled by a little joystick that's round here. You rotate it from memory left, and it's manual, and you can use it as a joystick to move the steering wheel in, out, back, up and down. You click it to the middle and it's locked. You click it to the right or clockwise and it's on auto, and it will remember the position that you've set whilst the ignition is on, and will automatically pull fully in and up when you turn the ignition off, and vice versa. On my car, all that is achieved with this simple lever, which allows me to move the steering wheel when I unlock it. Center stack or center console. Pressing the top left button brings on the fans for the heater and air conditioning. Rotating it changes the fan speed. This button, when it's illuminated, moves some servos behind the dashboard and locks off the external air intakes to recirculate the air and stop dust from being drawn into the car. The display on the dashboard is telling me the temperature that we're set to on the aircon. That's in degrees C because I'm in the UK, but I press the F button and it puts it into Fahrenheit. C back to C. If you want to know what the temperature is like outside, press X and it shows me that at 11 degrees C and then reverts back. If I want it to stay on external temperature rather than internal temperature, press, hold till it double beeps, and now that's your default. Press again and you're out of that loop. Aircon on means your compressor is running and therefore the air is being not only cooled but dried. So it can be useful on a damp day when your screen is misted up to have your aircon on because it dries the air. Pressing auto tells the system to do whatever it needs to do to achieve the temperature that you've set. And that includes changing the fans, their speed, where the air is blowing, recirculate, the whole 9 yards. As soon as you do anything manually, so if I adjust the fan speed, auto turns off. So this second row, working along from the left, starts with defrost front screen, and a little yellow light comes on and a beep. And that's not an electrically heated front screen on my particular model. What that does is it tells the aircon and heater system, do whatever you think is necessary to best defrost the screen. So fan on full, temperature will be turned up. It may actually use a little bit of recirculate initially to move the air around. Aircon to dry the air. It does whatever it thinks is necessary. The next one along is defrost rear screen, represented by the square button, represented by a square screen. This one only functions when the car is running because it's a heated rear screen and that takes quite a bit of juice. And again, a little light will illuminate on the switch when it's operating. The blue and red buttons adjust the target temperature for the air conditioning. So what am I trying to get to? If you're on auto, then the aircon will do everything it can to achieve that by adjusting all the controls. If you're not on auto, then you're telling it to blow 17-degree air. And even if the temperature dropped below that, it would keep blowing it, or above it, it would keep blowing 17-degree air. So on auto, it's your target temperature. Non-auto, it's the temperature of air you'd like to come out the vents. This button will tell the system to blow 20-degree air from the vents at face level. And we're in auto at the moment. When I apply that, it's no longer auto because you're telling the system what to do. So this will just continue blowing 20-degree air to face level. It's not going to thermostatically control. Next one along is face level air and warm feet. Next one along, just warm feet. And the last one along is a combination of warm feet and some demist to screen. And typically that's my favourite if I've got the hood up, and if I've got the hood down, I'm going to be using that one. Next level down, we have from the left, angle of the front headlights. This is how high or low the front headlights are pitched. 0 is the standard position. But if you then put a heavy weight in the boot, then maybe the headlights are a little high and dazzling people, and it's nice to be able to lower them from the dashboard. Press the button and it pops out. Then you can turn it, turn it, turn it, and you've got 3 different positions that you can aim the headlights from the comfort of the driver's seat. There's a separate video on how this works and some of its extra features. I don't have heated seats, but if I did, I'd have a button here and here for left and right heated seats. This button with the headlamp and fog aiming down is my front fog lights. Pressing that has no effect unless your headlights are turned on, and then it will turn on the fog lights as long as the ignition and the headlights are on. This one is the rear fog lights. Green light for the front and amber light for the rear. Next button is traction control off. When you press that button, a red light comes on and disables the traction control system. It's an electronic system rather than mechanical that detects wheel spin and cuts power and uses the ABS system to move traction around. Driving the XK8 vigorously with this off is not recommended unless you know what you're doing, you're on a track, or in certain circumstances in snow where the traction control would basically not enable you to get any forward momentum at all, and you actually want to burn through or push snow out of the way. But red light means it's off. If you turn the ignition off and then back on again, this light will not light up. It defaults to traction control on because that's safe. And on the right hand side is the hazard warning lights, and it operates the indicator just there in the switch, but also operates the indicator lamps on the dashboard. And like with most other cars, it doesn't matter if the ignition's on, this will operate even with the car locked. And that's so that you could park a car in an unsafe position, walk away from it to get help, and leave the hazards on. We're going to leave the radio for another day because that's an entire different story and people will have different radios. I have a convertible, so I have a roof button. My roof is operated by pressing and holding the down button and it will retract the roof. If I press it quickly once on down with the roof up, then the rear quarter windows retract. I then press the up button and they close. If I press and hold, then it retracts the roof. You can't, in standard setup, put the rear quarter light windows up with the roof down. That's purely a safety feature because they're triangles of glass. Kiddies climb in the back of the car, poke eyes out on corners of glass. So it isn't available as a standard feature. There are workarounds so that you can raise them with the roof down. It's a little coin tray and coin holder here at the front. We have lots of videos that cover the J-gate, how it works, how to use it, etc. So we won't cover those here, but just as we're doing controls at the moment, I'll just point out there is a red light just to the left of the P, but it's hard to see. That is part of programming key fobs and a few other functions that can illuminate. And all of this should illuminate on your car. The digits illuminate when you're in those particular settings. So we get asked a lot whether that should light up. Down here, I have two buttons. Not every car has two buttons. Some only have this one. This is a sport button. And again, covered extensively in some of the videos on J-gate. What we need to know is down is off or standard. Up and illuminated is sport. And that will give you a sportier drive. The left-hand button is the cruise control arm disarm button. So everything I showed you on the cruise controls on the steering wheel won't function unless that is in the up position and illuminated. The only other controls I'll share with you now are, obviously you have a glove box, which is lockable via the ignition key. And down on the left, we have the bonnet release. Give it a firm tug from the bottom and the windscreen end of the bonnet will pop up. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. It's a nice little chill out for me. I do get quite a lot of questions about interior controls, etc. And it's nice to just walk through them and see what you got and check that everything works now and again. My ducky buddies are still hanging out in the garage with me. And I'm going to go and have a chat with them in a moment. If you've got some suggestions for videos you'd like to see, then please send them in. I'll get round to everything eventually, but obviously this is my hobby, so I'm not going to be spending money that I don't want to spend to do things. So I'm constantly being asked, can you change the timing tensioners, etc. Not again, no, they've already been done on this car. So I'm not going to be doing stuff for the sake of it. But stuff you want to know and stuff it's easy to sort of show how it detaches, attaches, then it's always welcome to hear your requests. Oh, ducky buddy. Want some sweeties? Oh, I've got some more bread here, look. Ducky, ducky buddy. Okay. That's it. That's donkey bread. Shouldn't give ducks too much bread because it swells up. They do love it. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.